7:48, and of course, writing a will isn't something most people want to think about, but it's so important to do that.
We just finished ours a few months ago, actually. And a legal expert tells us even young people need to begin estate planning. It's not something you want to think about, but attorney Jeffrey Katz joins us live this morning to explain.
Good morning.
Good morning. You know, this is unpleasant to think of, right? Because if you're writing a will, you're using it in case you die, but we all will someday. So who needs to write a will?
Pretty much everyone. I mean, you know, when we talk to people about their estate planning, it's not a, if you're going to die, it's really a question of when you're going to pass and what's going to happen to the assets the time that you pass. So who will the beneficiaries be? How will those funds be distributed? And in what mechanism or manner do you want those people to get those funds or the other personal items that you're trying to, pass on to your family members?
And Jeffrey, I've always heard like friends and coworkers say, oh, you got to write a will because if God forbid something happens, the government's going to take all your stuff. Is there a kernel of truth in that?
So if you don't have a will, you'll be considered to have died intestate. It's a fancy Latin word for a person who doesn't have a will. And if you don't have any beneficiaries, you don't have any children or family members, then ultimately your funds may escheat back to the state. And so in most jurisdictions, it'll wind up with the Board of Education or with the local government unit. We'll then use it for some type of government purpose. But it doesn't have to be that way, because if you've gone ahead, you've been tactical in terms of your planning, you've identified those individuals, you can then go ahead and nominate them to receive those funds either through a will or through some other testamentary instrument like a trust or through a beneficiary designation on a bank account or an insurance policy.
No, so just a quick follow-up, Jeffrey. So what if you do, so is there a little bit of truth to that, is what you're saying? Like if someone doesn't have dependents, but what if you do have dependents and you didn't? Is there still some truth that the government would get its paws into your...
Yeah, so your dependents would wind up receiving the funds under the state's intestacy statute, and every state has their own separate intestacy statute, which will dictate who gets the money and what percentages, and when those funds will be distributed to them. Now, that may or may not be what you had intended, and so having your wishes known through a will or through some other type of testamentary instrument is really the best way to go ahead and ensure that your goals and objectives will be met.
And how do you go about preparing a will?
So really the first thing to do is to organize, to go ahead and identify what are the objects, natural objects of your bounty. Who do you want to receive those funds? Then what are the types of assets that you have? Do you have real estate? Do you have tangible personal property? Do you have maybe a life insurance policy or a business interest? Or maybe you have a bank account or an interest with a security firm, maybe a stock or bond account somewhere. And so having identified those things, then you can identify, well, who do you want to get those assets? And so, is it a spouse? Is it children? And if it's children, should they get that money outright in free of trust at age 18? Or should they get it over a longer period of time? I personally think giving a 18 or a 21-year-old $1 million or $2 million is a terrible idea, but yet we have people who do it all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot to think about. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's important stuff.
Sure, thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeff.